Hey guys, today I'm going to be going over some quick tips on how I approach blending in Infinite Painter. If you end up finding this video useful or helpful, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this or more speed painting videos of my art. To get started, I use a very specific brush in Infinite Painter. It is a modified version of the clay roller that is one of the default brushes in Infinite Painter. If you want to check out the brushes that I use and the settings that I have on them, I have a video on it here. And also in the description for that video, I have a link so that you can download them as they are. But anyway, one of the first things that I worry about when it comes to blending is how much pressure I am putting on my pen tip to the screen. With the brush that I use, this clay roller brush, the way that I have it set up is that the lighter you press, the more the color blends and the less you actually put color down onto the brush. I find the way that brush functions to be very helpful for me. That way I can use things such as the way that the pen is tilted. If your tablet supports that, you can tilt your pen sideways and it'll cover a wider area and will blend a little bit more. And if you press really lightly while you're blending in a tilted direction, then it will be even smoother. Honestly, ever since I modified that clay roller brush, I really haven't used much else. I even use it for my sketches, but it's got the perfect square flat shape that I really like to use ever since my days using Photoshop and using the square shaped brushes on there. I don't know why I really like that style of tip. I guess it's because it reminds me of a squared off paintbrush, and that's what I'd use in real life if I was going to do a painting, so it kind of feels familiar. Anyway, the next tip that I have for you guys is do not neglect the color picker. It is my #1 tool on Infinite Painter that I use besides the brush tool. Always make sure you're using that color picker to pick between the two blended colors that you've already started blending. I find that if you select those in-between colors and further blend with those colors, it will really enhance your gradient and make it a more smooth, painterly style blend. You can see in the girl I'm drawing here, in her lips, there's a little bit of a gradient. It's a little bit lighter on one side of the lips than the other, and that gives a good view of kind of a shading effect from the light shining on it. And I'm utilizing my blending abilities with the color picker to smooth that out and make it look more uniform and finished. I do have one little warning if you're going to be using this clay roller modified brush that I have. One thing I have noticed is that if you're trying to exactly copy a color with the color picker, for some reason with the way that the blending works, the color always comes out looking slightly darker than the color that you wanted to pick. So do be on the lookout for that. It doesn't bother me that much because I tend to like tons of colors and lots of blending and lots of different little smudges and marks here and there on my paintings just to make them look more like actual paintings, even though they are digital. But I know that there's probably plenty of people out there that would get really bothered by having the color picker not be accurate and produce a darker color. So if that's something that bothers you, just make sure that you use a a different brush that doesn't have blending on, something like an airbrush or something like that, to actually put down the color you want in that spot, and then you can switch back to my blending style brush. Again, it doesn't really bother me. What I will usually do is just color pick as I usually would, and maybe go into the color wheel and just lighten that up a little bit just to make it look almost the same. Doesn't really distract me from what I'm doing, but that's up to your preference. Another thing that you might have noticed me doing during this drawing is I will scribble cross-hatching of the color that I want to blend down in a small size brush before I will actually go back over it with a larger size of the same brush with the same color and blend it over. This is kind of my rule of smaller puts down color, bigger is better for blender. I know that doesn't really rhyme or anything, but basically go big to blend and go small for color. If you downsize the brush, it seems to blend with the surrounding colors less. So I'll use that to put down color too, a little bit more accurately. And then I'll scribble a little bit of color down, and then I'll blend it with a bigger size of that same brush. And that's super helpful for getting a good gradient exactly the way that you want it placed down. Another technique that I used on her face there with that light purple glow is that I will lower the opacity of my brush to about 50% or maybe even lower than that. And I will ever so slightly blend over a light wash of whatever color I'm doing. So for example, here I'm showing you, like, for a skin tone, if I wanted to do a blush tone over top of that skin, I usually would lower the opacity of my brush pretty low and lightly blend over a light wash of that pinkish hue for a blush tone to the skin. And that works really well in many different situations. If you're having trouble getting colors to blend right and they're looking a little bit muddy, or they're just not blending properly with this brush, which I find sometimes happens, this is a good way to smoothen things out in the way that you want. And the last little bit of information I wanted to share with you guys might make you a little bit upset after I showed all this to you, because there is a smudge tool in Infinite Painter. I, however, never really enjoyed using smudge tools. I think they're sometimes a little bit out of control, and I like a little bit more control in my paintings. And I also like a little bit more texture in my blended areas. I don't usually want them to seem absolutely perfect CGI computer smooth, if that makes sense. But basically, just like the pen tool and the erase tool, you can set the smudge tool to be any brush. So if you want a really, really soft, fluffy airbrush smudge, you can use an airbrush brush, or you can even use my canvas roller brush, and then that acts as the same type of thing, but with no color attached to it. And that could be very useful for some of you. But like I said, I tend to really like the painterly look of blending it yourself manually. So I try not to use smudge tools in most programs. But nothing wrong with using them if they serve you well. It's just, I do notice that they will blend kind of uncontrollably, as I said earlier. Sometimes they will pick up colors around you that you wouldn't think that they would pick up because they would be too far away, but it'll pick it up. And it's kind of the same thing with my clay roller brush. That will pick up other colors that you don't want it to sometimes too if you use too large of a brush size. So it could also just be down to brush size. If you want to use the smudge tool, you might want to stick down to a smaller size brush. That might be my only advice with regards to that. But that's about most of the advice I have on blending today. You can utilize these tips that I've given you today and take them straight into shading and blend shading, black and white, color, whichever way you want to do it. And you can use these techniques in blending skin tone, like I said. I can show you that in one of my more recent videos from a couple months ago on how I showed you how to blend skin and incorporate the more pink hues to whatever skin tones you're using. And using these blending techniques with the lighter opacity would help with things like that, like I said before. But I hope that you guys found this video useful, like I said, and if you did, please, again, hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more tutorials like this. And if you enjoy watching my time-lapse videos, like I said, there's definitely more of those. And other than Infinite Painter, I also do acrylic paintings, so go ahead and check out my playlists for more of that. And I try to do live streams at least once a week, if at all possible. And I also try to upload videos at least once a week, but recently I've been able to do more than that. So please check out my channel for more videos if you like what you saw. And please come back for more next time, guys. Leave me a comment below for any suggestions on topics you want covered. And I hope you have a good one. Bye.